Hey everyone, welcome to another color along. This is Anne Manera, and today's color along coloring tutorial, as I like to call them from now on, is all about coloring with a number 2 pencil. So this morning we are coloring with a color along volume 18 coloring book, and we are coloring with not just a number 2 pencil. This is the page we're using. It can be found in the color along volume 18 coloring book, as well as my book, Bursting Mandalas, an Easy on the Eyes coloring book. So you can find all of the links in the description of this video to my books, to my Amazon influencer shop, where if you purchase something from using that link, I do earn a small commission. And hopefully you'll be able to learn something today. So, you know, a lot of us travel around with our coloring books. We wait at appointments. Maybe we're in the car and we're going somewhere, and we're looking for something to do to fill our time, and we don't really want to carry everything with us if we want to color. So this is a really good opportunity to learn a new coloring technique where all you have to bring with you is your book and a number 2 pencil. So first of all, as always, I like to put a piece of cardstock behind my page so it doesn't create any type of marks on the page behind in the book. And I'm using a variety of different brand number 2 pencils. You can use any brand you like. It doesn't make a difference. But different brands have different, I don't want to say colors, but of course it's all the same color because the number 2 pencil is just really graphite. But they certainly have a different appearance once they're placed on the page. So let's see what I have with me today. This is a Dixon Ticonderoga Black HB2 number 2 pencil. It is made by the same company as this one right here, which says soft on it. So the black one is a bit darker. I really love this pencil. That's one of my favorites. This is a Dixon Ticonderoga HB2 soft. Now they're all going to say soft. I mean, they're all going to say HB2. I'm sorry. Some of them say soft. Some of them don't say soft. And we're going to talk about what that HB really means. This one is just kind of a pencil that I just kind of had hanging around. It says Congress. It's a number 2 pencil. It's more of a hard lead. That's just how it is. This pencil is, the brand is Jot, and I think I bought this at Dollar Tree, and it has a 2 on it, so that's number 2. I actually have 2 of those. This one says finest quality, and it is a number 2 pencil. It's just that it's kind of been seen its day, but I keep them, so that's fine. And I just sharpen these in my electric pencil sharpener. So the first thing I want to talk about with all of you today is, what does that HB mean? You can see it on this pencil right here where it says HB, and that is really just the type of pencil, the lead. It identifies the lead of the pencil. So let me see if I can. I guess I could do it on this page behind. Let's do it on here. I want to show you what this means. Okay, let's see. All right, so when we're talking about a pencil, the range is like this. So here's our pencil chart. In the middle is HB, or a number 2 pencil. Okay, and then if a pencil says B on it, it's on this side. So this is the B's. These are the B's. If it's here, it has H. Okay, B means it's soft. H means it's hard. Now, that is in comparison to one another. So the HB is in the middle. Then sometimes you'll see things like 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7B, and on and on. And then, so the lower the number on the B side, the harder the lead is. The higher the number on the B side, the softer the lead. So it's going to go from hard to soft. Okay? Then on this side, you'll see 2H, 3H, 4H, 5H, 6H, 7H, 8H, and so on. Okay? So on this side, the softer the lead is, the lower the number, the softer it is. The higher the number, the harder the lead is. So this goes from soft to hard. Okay? So this, sometimes you'll get a set of drawing pencils and they'll have all of these types of pencils in it. When I'm drawing something, this is kind of like my go-to. 4B and 3B. I don't know why, I just like a softer lead. When you're looking at something that's in this range right here on the H's, it's really a hard lead, and it's really someone that's drawing more of a technical style drawing. So just kind of like take a minute, take a look at that chart. What we're really concerned about is the HB today, which is the number 2 lead. So that's what we're really concerned about. So I'm just going to leave that on the screen for a couple of minutes, and I'll take a picture of that so that we can have it as reference. So for today's color along, we are only concerned about HB. We're only concerned about number 2. We don't even have to worry that it's an HB. Doesn't always have to say HB. But I just kind of wanted to give you probably more information that you really needed to know. But it's good to be, knowledge is power, right? So it's good to have more information, and so that you have an understanding of all of that. So when I'm tackling a coloring page with the number 2 pencil, there's a couple of things that I'd like to keep in mind and pay attention to. First of all, when you're coloring with graphite, the graphite will smudge onto your hand. Now, if you are allergic to it, or you just don't like anything on your hands like that, then you could easily just place a piece of paper over it to rest your hand as you're coloring. I won't be doing that today because it will block the rest of my page, and for coloring, for video purposes, I will not be doing that. The other thing you want to remember is that each pencil, each brand, can be treated as different colors or shades. So we're going to think monochromatic when you're coloring in a monochromatic technique. Or the other thing you can think of too is this is a good opportunity to employ your skills as using colored pencils in the shading technique. So I'm going to start out with this flower, this little floral right here, using my pencil that says Congress, and I'm going to start out with the heavy pressure here, and as I go towards the center, I'm just going to ease up on the pressure, and I'm going to do this to all of my, just have to give a dog a biscuit, sorry about that. I'm going to do this to all of these shapes as I go around this center ring. So you really want to kind of make sure you don't like smudge if you're going to be leaning on it, just make sure it doesn't smudge. So that, I guess that's the biggest problem with that, is the graphite will actually kind of smudge. You could go back in and you could also use like a smudge stick or something to blend the colored pencil, the graphite pencil or the number 2 pencil. But for today's demonstration, we are just going to work our magic with the pencils themselves. Now, I'm not going to turn my page around or pivot. I am just going to keep the page the way it is, and I am going to just color each shape or each area at the angle that it's in front of me. Does that make sense? So for example, if this one right here has a darker shade right here and then it lightens here, that doesn't mean, if I was going to do that for each one, I would probably have to pivot my page so that each section would be dark at the same spot. But for this this technique, I'm leaving everything the way it is, so it kind of has a little bit of a twist to it because it's turning. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can definitely create some texture with this technique. I'm going to now switch over to my Ticonderoga black. And this one is a much darker, softer lead. So I'm going with a heavy pressure at the base of this shape here. And then I'm lightening up. Again, heavy pressure here, lightening up. Now, I want that transition to be smooth. I don't want to see a defined line. And for this part right here, I'm going to move in with another pencil. So here is this one right here. Again, different shapes are having different brand pencils applied to them. Had to turn off my phone. I don't want my phone to ring in the middle of this. And again, just kind of a lighter pressure. So you don't see that transition. You want to just kind of see an easy transition, as if you were still coloring with colored pencils. You know how you kind of create that gradient? So it's the same type of thing. And just like I think I say this in every color along, if you know how to shade with colored pencils, you can really apply that technique to any medium, whether it's a #2 pencil, or it's pastels, or even markers, even gel pens, because at least you have that concept of gradation, or creating value, creating a different tone. So once you have a clear understanding of that, the other thing is that once you, it takes a while sometimes, especially if you're a beginner. It takes a while to kind of get used to the pencil in your hand and to be able to stay in the lines. I'm not trying to say that in an insulting way at all, but to be able to kind of move that pencil so that you can move it, whether it's a speed that you're coloring at, or just kind of getting into the flow of it, you know. This #2 pencil method is one of my favorite. All right, so now I'm going to slip over. I'm going to slip over on the ice, over to this one, which is the jot. This is the jot one I want. And for this one, I'm going to do a light pressure. I'm barely like kissing the page with this pencil. I should go close the window because, I don't know, someone's got music on out there. You don't want that to interfere with our concentration. Let me just get this area colored and I'll go close that window. Sometimes just the sound. Oh, I forgot this one. What happened? I don't know what happened. Totally forgot it. And then this right here, again, that jot one. So it's really a simple process using these pencils. I just want to close this window so this music doesn't blast. So it really is a simple process. So I've got this one right here, which is called Finest Quality. I don't really know. I mean, these are just kind of pencils that I just kind of had. And this one I'm just going to put on its side just to give it a smooth look in the center. Now remember, if you have if something's underneath your page with this coloring in this fashion, as you lean that pencil, it's going to come up. You're going to get that texture. Remember when you were a kid, you would place a penny over your page. That would be kind of cool to put. So put something under this coloring page, because this coloring page is all about easy on the eyes and larger spaces to color, bigger areas to color. So now I'm going to take my Ticonderoga black, because I want something to be a little bit darker on this portion right here. And as I give it the same method as this one, but I'm pressing harder as I get to these, to the outer portion of this. So imagine this being a flower, and then as I get closer to the center, I am easing up on my pressure. So we've got a nice gradation forming. And if I'm getting something on something else, I can always just go back in and just erase it. Or you could just use a dry paintbrush to kind of wipe away your eraser droppings. You can go and you can use an electric eraser if you wanted to. I'm just going old school here by you know, the manual eraser. Getting my exercise today with just a regular old-fashioned pink eraser. But I do want this outer portion to be a bit darker than the center, okay? And I do want this part right here to be, to not have what I just did. So I'm going to kind of erase what's there. I think this is the only coloring technique that I actually use an eraser for. So, and the other thing too is that the oils on your fingers are going to get on the page, just like they would if you were using any type of coloring medium. So you want to make sure that you are conscious of that, or mindful of that. So pay attention to that part of it. And just kind of like blow it away. All right, so let's use this jot pencil again. And for this one, I am looking at this area here, and I'm coloring out. I'm starting from the center, I'm coloring out, right? So for this one, I feel like this needs to be a darker section, and this is kind of a softer lead, this jot pencil. It doesn't really say it, but this is a Dollar Tree pencil, I know it. That's the Dollar Tree, can be found at Dollar Tree all the time. So just kind of giving it a heavy pressure for this particular area. The other thing is if the pencil has too much of a point on it, you can kind of dull it by kind of breaking it a little bit. But I just use a regular electric pencil sharpener. I use a Bostitch electric pencil sharpener to sharpen my pencils that I've used for years. You can actually find the link in my Amazon influencer shop. There's a link over to that. I make a small commission for any sale that's done through that link, but you can take a look at that, and there actually is a list of all of the supplies that I use for all of my color alongs for this book. So, and you can always just use any brand, right? You don't have to worry about using a particular brand. It's all about learning a new technique, not focusing on something, a coloring supply you don't have. So just because you don't have that particular coloring brand, the brand of a coloring supply, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to color. I think I am going to have to pivot though, right? So maybe I do have to pivot a little bit. I'll pivot to right here. Didn't want to. I think I have a couple of jot pencils with me. So you can certainly see how we've got a few different colors already. We have a variation of different grays throughout, different values of gray. So this is kind of like a combination of a monochromatic technique and a shading technique, wouldn't you say? Just kind of zip over to here. My computer makes these very strange noises, by the way. I don't know what the problem is. I'm just gonna pivot around to get these last two areas. Take the wood off that pencil a little bit. Now we could go over sharpening a pencil with a knife in this color along, but I just want to kind of focus on sharpening in just a regular pencil sharpener, whether it's a electric or manual. Another type of pencil that would be good to use with this technique is, you know, like a construction pencil that's kind of just a flat rectangular style pencil. That would be a good one to focus on. Now I have this finest quality pencil again, and again, we've got these, they look like water lilies to me. And I'm going to just kind of go on the side and then come up. Go on the side and then come up. So it's just kind of like I'm just touching it a little bit. Go on the side and come up. Okay? So that took care of that part of it. Now I'm also going to do the same type of technique, but I'm going to use the Ticonderoga one. And I'm going to just, on the side, on the side, on the side. So these are very light in these, in this particular one. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing to each one. So I'm almost treating it like it's pastel, like chalk in a way, by the way I'm holding it. I'm holding it completely laying down so that the lead is sideways. And then using the same technique. So the center part is a little bit darker than the rest. Can you see that? Hey, comment down below what type of brand color number 2 pencil you're using, because it's always interesting to hear what other people are using. Now I'm going to take my Congress pencil and I'm going to do the same thing, but very, very light, because this is a lighter lead. It comes out a little bit lighter and it gives it a much lighter look to it. And by adding this lighter section here, it's really allowing for this middle part where I gave some heavy shading to and added a much darker color to from the number 2 pencil, really giving it a chance for it to pop. So just kind of giving this a little bit of a lightness. Can you give something a lightness? Is that I don't know, is that a word? Giving it a lightness, lightness. And I kind of want to alternate. I kind of want to say, okay, I'm going to alternate between lights and darks as I'm going around this mandala. I mean, this is really kind of a mandala that's spread across the page, but I mean, if you were to imagine how it expanded, it would be round. So let's color these areas next. And for these, I'm going to start here and here, around that little peak. And then I'm coming out, okay? And I am leaving it on its side. And maybe I need to erase a little bit of what's here. There we go. I do need to sharpen this though, excuse me. Give it a quick sharpen. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this. Here and here. Okay, and then here. Oh no, we have that one. That's the wrong one. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Almost lost my mind for a second. Okay, so right here. And here. It's in the in-betweens, right? And then we are here. So again, kind of dark around that peak, and we're lightening up as we get further out. Dark around the peak. And further up. And we just have this one, okay? So we've kind of got that change. See how it's changing? And what else do we want to do? We want to add a little, we want to pull this dark section out. So we have this part right here. Let's start out with dark, medium, light. Or heavy pressure, medium pressure, light pressure. So there's kind of a gradation there of all of these. I do kind of see a little bit of a line about a quarter of the way up, so I want to just kind of make that more of an easy transition. So there we go. So heavy pressure, light, medium pressure, light pressure. Okay, I'm going to pivot just a little bit here so I can get the same direction on this one. Heavy pressure, medium pressure, light pressure, okay? Now, sometimes I hold the pencil so it's kind of like tucked in between my thumb and my forefinger where the eraser is. So I really kind of like a shorter pencil better. I have this one pencil, actually, speaking of short pencils, that I have drawn so many coloring books with that it is probably about, I don't know. It's ready for retirement, I think. I actually think I need to just take it and put it in a frame and hang it on the wall. Because I don't really think it can do any more work for me. It really is about 2 inches tall, 2 inches long. Here's the last section. And I just want to give this a little bit of an erase. All right, now I'm going to go back in with this finest one. I seem to like this one. And again, I'm going to pull out and pull in with some dark pressure. Pull out here with some dark pressure. And the same thing here. But as I get to that tip, I want it to be a little bit lighter. And as this is kind of like the corner of all of it right there. So we want that to be the darkest. Here again, the corner of all of it, and then make it the darkest. So I guess the best way to show you this is to just do it, right? Just demonstrate. I use someone that learns by watching or by doing or by reading. There's all different ways that we learn, right? Sometimes you just gotta do. Just gotta do it. Again, here. Here. So we've got that section, that section. We'd have this one right here to do. Here's another one. Another one here. And now we have this one right here, which is a little bit different than the rest, but I'm going to just kind of treat it with this finest pencil on its edge, and the same technique. My lead is about to fall out of this actually, but there's only a couple. Here's the other one. Now, I'm going to go back in with my Congress pencil and give this a very light area here. Starting out dark though, and at the edges. Light here again. I mean, look how simple, right? A number 2 pencil. Here you are sitting at the, I don't know, at the mechanic, waiting for your car to be inspected. And you have something you want to just kind of sit and relax and color. But you don't really want to bring all of those coloring supplies with you. So you just brought a number 2 pencil. Or maybe you forgot to bring anything with you at all. So you fumble around into your bag and poof, you find a number 2 pencil. So easy peasy, right? Something that you could have kids do. You could also do this with a pen. Sometimes we do this. I do this with a just one color pen. And that is a finished product. So simple, simple. We don't want to have anything else done to it. I mean, you could kind of like erase maybe what's happening off the edge there, just to kind of, you know, finish it off a little bit. But just a number 2 pencil, a few different brands we used, and would love to see what you are able to do with this page. So post your pages in the Facebook Just Coloring group, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I hope this was informative, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.